All right.
Hey, everybody, Skip Eliot. That's Hunter Lisle over there, if I remember which way to point. He's from the Arthur Murray Dance Studio. How you doing, Hunter?
I'm doing great. It's fun to be on the air with you as always, and we're Zoom, we're semi-live, and a lot of fun.
Okay, we've talked about it for 2 weeks. Finally, last night, 8 o'clock, we got to see the debut of the new Dancing with the Stars, new Tyra Banks. She's a host now. No audience, no Len Goodman. You were worried about that, and he didn't show. He did show up later, but he's not going to be able to judge this year, I don't think.
No. We had mentioned that the night before.
Carrie-Anne is a blonde now, and Bruno has stopped coloring.
Yeah, they're on there. Derek is now the judge, one of the judges, and Len will be in the season in some form. He just couldn't get back because of all the COVID regulations.
Yeah.
Carrie-Anne was on Facebook not that long ago and did a text Instagram saying she was changing her hair. And so, apparently that was the case, getting fit, changing hair, all the things that go along with it. But it is weird to see it without the audience. I have to say, to me, I enjoy seeing the audience, their reaction. And, that was a little odd, I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was a little clunky because you couldn't be together. Like, Tyra would be really close to him if it weren't for COVID. And that I'm going to have to get over with. I think the show is okay. I got to get past my bias for one of the funniest guys out there. And,
I know.
He was just the best.
I like him personally. So, it's hard for me to do that too. Although, Tyra did a good job. There's some big shoes to fill. So that's not an easy thing. And coming out of the gate, who knows what's going to happen? No audience and it's going to be an interesting season.
Looked like the dances were a little shorter this year.
They were. And, it could have been because, again, without how it's going to be without the reactions of the audience also plays a role because as a performer, you're getting that reaction. So when that's not there, you have to kind of manufacture it a little bit, and I wonder how that'll play out.
I was wondering if the audience that they piped in was being played over speakers in the ballroom, because that would make a difference. But I think they overdid it with the crowd noise. I think we have a lot of places that are now using piped in crowd noises, and I think they're doing it wrong.
And I'm going to ask that question because I texted last night because I had my nights wrong, and for whatever reason, I thought last night was Tuesday. So I had texted when I first called you. So I texted Dina Katz. Dina is the one that if you want to be a celebrity on the show, she's the one you go through. And she's been there since day one. She's the floor director. She's a wonderful person. So I texted her last night, good luck. Good luck on the premiere. You're going to do great. As always, and she texted back, I'm looking forward to it. And I said, I hope we get to see you soon. She said, I'll see you, Hunter, in 2021. And, so I think it'll be an interesting year. But I'll have to ask her what they did with the applause and the lack of applause and the kind of the sounds. And I'll find that out for next week. I'll find out what they did. I'll give her a text.
Okay, let's get to the dances. I'll start off with number one, AJ McLean and Cheryl. They did a jive.
Yes.
It's hard being the first to go, man. It really is, especially the opening show of a new season. Everyone's watching.
I felt so sorry. Being a backstreet singer, he's got the performance capability, he's got the rhythmic ability. But I really, again, like you, I felt sorry being the first one because his jive got an 18 out of 30. It was respectable as far as 18s go. But, again, by the end of the season, by the end of the night, it was forgettable. Only because it was the beginning one. It was the first one. So I kind of felt sorry for the guy having to be the number one person out there. And that's hard to do. I wish him the best, but that was tough.
He fell on his opening trick. They were off sync a lot of times throughout the dance. And they really missed the ending is what I thought. I thought it would have been a lower score, to be honest.
Yeah, 18 seemed to be the commonality for that one, but for the quality of it. But it could have been lower or higher. Being the first one, they might have thrown him a bone because it's the first one out there. And again, that's a little bit of nerves.
I thought Chriselle and Gleb looked kind of stiff and wobbly. They did a tango, and it didn't set right with me for some reason.
The footwork and the frame needed some clear improvement, and they were really having trouble during the dance of readjusting the frame, getting that to be a tango frame, and they weren't doing well with that. They kept having to readjust. And the hard part is if you have a frame in a tango and you're making your transition from one move to the next, then you've got to reassess and get into your frame. And as we've seen together, that's not easy to do. So I agree, that was tough.
They got a 13. Now, one of my dances of the night were Vernon Davis and Peta. That foxtrot was just incredible. They only got a 17, and I was a little angry about that.
Yeah, there was some chemistry. I mean, there was some when he ran the hands down the shoulders, there was some chemistry with that. I think he did that for a full 8 count, so maybe he was enjoying that a little bit. But you don't always see the enjoyment and the elegance in the foxtrot. But he still got a 17. But I personally thought it could have been a little higher, but that's just me. The foxtrot was kind of interesting.
Anne Heche needed a little more hip action, I thought, with the cha-cha with Keogh.
You called that better than anything, and that was an 18. I thought that could have deserved a little lower. I thought she would do better, honestly, coming out of the gate, but she did not. And I think, but cha-cha's tough. Keogh's a good performer. He's a very high intensity performer, and you know, when you have one of those, getting used to that is kind of interesting. So
and it's always the first week is the hardest for everybody because they've never even seen them. And how many days have they had of practice so far?
Not as many as they need to be, you know, hours and hours, but not this year as many as they should. So that was tough. That was a hard one.
Jeannie Mai and Brandon did a nice salsa. They got an 18 points. To me, it looked kind of campy because they were all dressed up in all that green and everything. I was expecting one of these.
They were doing a lot of tricks. There were a lot of tricks, and some were cool, but it was a little bit overdone. And if you had to ask me, I would have actually expected a 16 out of 30 versus an 18 for that one. In fact, I was betting on that, looking at it, and I really didn't think. I think probably the move with her legs around his neck probably gave me 18, but you know, I don't know. That was for going out of the gate. That was something.
Yeah, my note says I'm not sure what I was missing.
I think the legs took it on that one and gave it the 18. Had it not been for the legs, I think they would have gotten a 16, maybe a 15. But I think the tricks carried that one pretty much.
The next dance was Jessie Metcalf with Shauna, and I want to see this quick step in about 4 or 5 weeks when they've had some weeks to practice. That was close. That was a real good dance for a first week dance.
Boy, I'm with you on that one. His it was hard to read because he had such intense facial expressions that you couldn't tell if he was really having fun, you know, but he was so focused on it that it was really good. And a 21 score, I like that one personally. I'm with you. I hope he stays on long enough that we get to see that again, because if that's developed, that could be a phenomenal dance for him.
Definitely. We're with Hunter Lisle from Arthur Murray Dance Studio, our Dancing with the Stars update. This is week number 1.
Oh, how exciting. I know we did our pre-chat beforehand, and now we're week number 1. And you know, and this is the world famous Skip Eliot to my left over here. I think I'm pointing that direction, which, well, you are world famous. But, you know, again, the best voice on radio right here, literally with me. So, and doing a great commentary too. Now you're a professional Dancing with the Stars commentator after all these years too. We've done this. So.
I am a commentator. That's exactly what I am.
No.
Thank you. My wife's a sweet tater, if you want to know the truth.
Oh my God! You say potato, I'll say potato. Hey, it works.
And my grandson.
On Amazon.
Hush up, Alexa. Stop!
You know, randomly,
it's singing to me. What the heck did I do? Alexa, stop. It was playing Sweet But Psycho by Fly By Night Core. I don't know what that was.
This is the world of Zoom in 2020 with Alexa, because I've been walking through a room and she'll tell me a joke or tell me something, and I'm like, where did that come from? You know, so it's kind of fun.
All right, second half of the dances. I think my dance of the night was this one. Sky Jackson, the 18-year-old, the youngest, knocked it out of the park with that tango. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you were correct. When I watched that one, I really didn't think that was going to be my favorite at first. And the tango was amazing. I mean, you got kind of a whiplash movement out of that, and they put a lot into it. I'll tell you, that Sky is going to be one to watch. I mean, 21, great score. But just to watch it, the movements were a little bit, sometimes they were a little bit almost too powerful, but that's going into it from night number 1. And again, night number 1, my finger disappears with my virtual background.
That's all, your whole arm. See, look at mine. See?
And there it goes. So they were a little bit choppy and powerful, but I think as it goes along, if Sky develops, that'll become more, you know, part of the dance. And with tango, that's tough. It was insanely good. The split was amazing. Yes. And just watching the energy of that was really fun.
The first of 2 21s was that one. The other one was Justina and Sasha doing the cha-cha with another 21. That was a great dance too.
That was amazing, because I'm telling you what, the confidence in that was legendary after that one. And they had a lot of swagger. And I wrote down, they with a solo section that probably would have rattled a lot of other people, you know. So you saw the solo section in there on night 1, but again, you got a great skilled performer, and I think because of that, it didn't rattle them, and they got a 21. So that was very good.
Caitlin Briscoe and Artem did a great cha-cha. Good dance. Bruno said you really got her going on the toe in week 1. What does that mean, Hunter?
Well, you got cha-cha. You know, basically there was correct footwork. You know, in the movement in a cha-cha, it's a rhythm dance. So whether, unlike, like I say, a foxtrot, a tango, waltz, quickstep, Viennese waltz, where you're leading with a heel to create a drive. So now you've got a rhythm dance, a spot dance, and you're moving in one spot. So when you take a step forward, it's with your toe of the ball of the foot, because it's a short step. It's more of a staccato movement. And so when that happens, I'm going to mess up my Zoom by dancing. And so when you do that, that's important. And do that right away with nerves. And the first night out, that was impressive. That was actually quite good.
Neve was another one I liked a whole bunch. Neve and Jenna did a foxtrot. I thought it was a nice dance, good fluid movements, and I think it was smooth on the rise and falls.
You know, I didn't know how they would do. I kind of originally thought they might not make it, and I thought, well, maybe that would be an early elimination, but I may have to change that after really watching it, because the score was good and the dancing was better. And I think as the dancing goes along, you know, if they can continue with the confidence and the elegance they have with that, it might develop into something. I had almost written them off a little bit, thinking, okay, maybe they're not going to last very long, and they still may not. But, you know, I think that was a great thing. Kind of changed my mind a little bit.
Johnny Weir, Mr. Show Off, and Britt also did a cha-cha, and I thought it was a good dance.
It was. You know,
I thought it was a really good dance, to be honest. I think, to be honest,
yes.
And I told you I wouldn't tell you. I'm telling you now. That's my dark horse, Johnny Weir, to win it.
I am putting a star by my notes right now.
Great footwork, great timing.
Right here, and I'm writing that down for night one here. Your name on it. I'm going to put that right now, because I have to say I was impressed. You got a figure skater who is amazing, and we've seen figure skaters do incredibly well. I think we mentioned a couple weeks ago, I had said I think that could be a good one, because, you know, again, it's like figure skating. They've got the talent. You know, years ago in my early career, in my 20s, I taught a couple of Olympic ice dancers how to dance as a choreography for their ballroom, their dancing section with the Olympics. And it was cool, because I never realized how much they train and how good they are. And later, many years later, you and I got to critique them on, you know, with the show. And I always go back to those days watching that. But that was pretty cool. So that is your dark horse, and I'm marking that down right now as your prediction. So
I think Charles Oakley, in about 4 more weeks, should he stay, will be fine. I think he did great with Emma on that salsa. Just needs to learn what my wife said. Now, my wife's horning in on this too.
Yeah.
No shimmy.
No shimmy. Interesting. He was surprising. I expected a little better performance, being an NBA All-Star, but he's a strong partner, reliable for Emma, and Emma's a strong dancer. So, you know, again, very, very good dancer. So hopefully, like I said, if he keeps improving, he'll be on it. Got a low score. I think for him, week number 2 is going to be the kicker. Yeah. So if he makes it past 2, he'll be good.
Okay, Monica Adalma and Val did a foxtrot. Now, Val is one of my favorite dancers.
Yeah.
Val took this whole thing. It was wonderful. He did a great job with her. It was a graceful dance. They got a 19 out of it. I thought they may have gotten a 20, but I think Val's the best teacher out there.
He really is. He's also one of the, we've met him a couple of times, and he's one of the nicest people. I mean, just a joy to talk to, and he's a good teacher. Like you say, he's able to take somebody from the very beginning and mold them into a dancer that could last and could go the distance. And I thought that was really good. It was very.
You're freezing. You look like you're intently looking at me. I hope the sun freezes soon. You look like you're giving me a lecture. I hope you unfreeze soon. Is it cold where you are, Hunter? Oh my. We may have lost Hunter. Wait a minute. Come in, Hunter. He really does look like he's getting mad at me for some reason. Ah! Oh no, you're gone. Hold on, we'll try and see if we can get him back. Oh.
There we go.
Woo!
That was weird. You know, I think the internet in one of our houses is probably like 2 gerbils running on a wheel, and then one got. Yeah, so that's okay. They're back on now, so you know it all works out. But you were talking about Charles Oakley and then about Monica and Val, and I really do think that Val is probably going to be a tremendous person. Like you said, he's an amazing teacher, and he can really bring out the best in someone.
I thought Nelly would do a lot better than he did. He got a 16, nice arm and footwork, in sync pretty well. Needs to open up a little bit more. They did a salsa with Daniela.
Yeah, there's room for improvement. You could see a little bit in the rehearsal package that you looked at for them, the pre-show. he looked a little overwhelmed, honestly. And, and I kept thinking, well, maybe that's going to continue, maybe not. But when he performed it, it was okay. He's a good, good rapper, and he has a lot of charisma and musicality. So that did show in night number one. Again, the prepackage is what they give him to work on. That was a lot of like nerves and a lot of overwhelmingness. But he got, again, 16 out of 30. So it wasn't bad at all.
All right, to the project. They always put one project in there. Her name is Carol Baskin. Her partner,
it's a tiger by the
Tasha.
tail.
They did a paso doble, which I don't think they should have even tried.
No, I don't know what.
I don't know what
for the first night.
What would have been a good dance for her?
Boy, oh boy, that's a good question. Maybe I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure there is such a thing, but she, I think probably to be blunt, they got her on there. They did the wildest dance they could, and it's luck of the draw. But she did it. I was looking at my notes, and I'm like, I was expecting worse. She did okay. All things considered, I expected a far worse performance than she gave. You never know with these people. You never know what they're really like. I remember years ago, we'd met Kate Goslin, and when that season she was on there, and she turned out to be in person a nicer person than she was on the show. And you got to wonder how much of it is TV and their personality, how much of it is the real person, and there's just no way to know.
Yeah.
But possibility for her, holy cow, I don't know. It was 11 out of 30, the lowest score. Just kind of a, I don't think she's going to be off the show anytime soon.
Well, she did Eye of the Tiger last night. I'm thinking In the Jungle, The Mighty Jungle, The Lion Sleeps Tonight next week. And I think that may be the end for her, because I don't know of any Tiger songs left.
How many more Tiger songs can you get to? We should do a poll and have people, when they watch this Zoom on Facebook and Instagram, say, vote and say, okay, give us your best bet on the songs that you want to see her dance.
Either that or how many times your hand has gone away and you're...
Totally. And then I'll text, I got to start being really still. And I'll text the producer and say, okay, here's the song we suggest from Lexington, Kentucky, and see how much impact that has.
So The Lion Sleeps Tonight is next week, I think. And I don't know. Let's see what goes on.
How many Tiger songs can you think of? That's the question. How many Tiger songs are there? I don't know. We're going to have to look this up. I'm going to pull up the Disney movies and see how many Tiger songs are there.
Yeah, you could stretch it and do some Lion King, I would imagine. Things like
That's
that.
That's what I think. Probably get away with that. It might work okay. A little, things like that. I don't know. Of course, I'm going back to Morris Day and the Times, a little, the Bird, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
A whole different thing.
Bird ain't no tiger, though. Bird ain't no tiger, I'm telling you.
No, that's true. She's a character and a half. But we'll see what happens. But I think they'll keep her on there for a while. I think her fans, I kind of wonder about that. We'll see next week. It's going to be a fun season, though. I will say, I like some of the people on this season even more than some of the previous ones because they're more entertaining.
I honor what Carol Baskin did because I could never do that. But I question her decisions of going on with the show, to be honest.
Yeah, I always wonder why people sometimes do what they do. And, there's a lot of celebrities that get asked to this show and then they turn it down. And then there's a lot of other celebrities, even some that we've talked to, that wanted on the show but couldn't get on for whatever different reasons. And the ones that make it, you're like, okay, it's going to be really great or it's going to be a train wreck. But either way, it's entertaining, and sometimes you'll see some good things. I mean, do you remember when Alfonso got on there, who used to be on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? And when he got on there, and now he's actually hosting America's Funniest Home Videos, and so it's kind of funny how things happen like that. And for him, it increased his career. He's a funny guy, but it's funny how you never know what's going to happen next. No. There's still a few people we'd like to see on the show that have not been on there yet.
All right, season number 29, week 1's a wrap. Tyra Banks is the host.
Wow.
We'll see how it works. Maybe they'll bring an audience in a couple of days. I really don't think the applause, they need to just bring it back. They need to have a applause producer, I think.
I think that'd be a great idea. And I'll do a text to them and just see what they're doing. And who knows, maybe you and I'll get some impact on this, or at least we'll find out. And by next week, I'll try to send her a text and see what happens. And you never can tell what may happen. We may have a surprise guest on our show here, our little show down the road. We had one of the people from Dancing with the Stars said she might be able to join us.
Ooh.
So I'll just say she's a redhead. Let's just say that, maybe. But who knows? You never know. That might happen, and we'll see what that brings when we get to that point. But it's a lot of fun. I appreciate the crazy and exciting and supportive people that watch us do this every week, because there were a lot of people on Facebook and Instagram who were like, that was cool. And I'm like, thank you for watching us being crazy, because we have a lot of fun doing this.
He's not in the Mirrorball studio, and I'm not at Lake Cumberland, but it just looks like that.
It looks like that. And I've got to learn not to move my hands outside of this range because I tend to move anyway, and so I've got to remember to stay right there. You know,
I bring my arm
although I
up.
like
See,
your background this time.
There's my metallic arm right there.
Oh, look at that. I like that. You can actually see that now. You can
My
see my
mic
pen,
stand.
and then it disappears. There's my notes, and there it's gone again. So yours is very relaxing, though. I'm going to have to remember to come up with a better one for next week because this one I've used for a couple weeks now, and I'm like, okay, I need to change this up, make it a little more fun. I'm ready to have it animated, and I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I
Oh
think I need
my.
to hire someone to text to tell me, how do you make that animated? So make that work.
All right, we'll see what happens next week. I'll talk to you on Tuesday.
Looking forward to it. A lot of fun, and yes.
What do you want to do when you want to dance, Hunter? I forgot.
No, it's a good thought, actually. You know, I'll tell you, because if you want to dance, we've been here 20 years. We're back open again. And, you know, we've had a lot of people. We had 8 new people come in the studio today. And all of them were so excited because they had to put it off. They had weddings that were put off, trips that they planned, and now they're back. So if you're thinking about it, now's the time before it gets so busy. Call now, 278-7711, and you're going to get 2 free lessons to learn to dance and get started. Actually, if you're watching this show, you'll get 3 private lessons to learn to dance and have fun. Go to dancingiseasy.com. Try it out. If you're nervous, if you're single, I had somebody call me and they say, "But we're single. We don't have a partner." And I said, "You don't need one. Actually, the teacher is your partner, and then you get to meet people and have fun. You know, so you and I have been on here a long time together. You know, call now and try it out, and you'll have a great time. You really will."
And people who have watched this show today have seen Alexa go crazy and you freeze.
I know. So, you know, in Zoom, it's more
We both
entertaining.
lost our arms.
I know. It's like the arms go, and then half my head disappears, and you know, I like half the time I look like I'm just like I got to learn to sit still. I'm not good at sitting still anyway. I think I quit caffeine-ish, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, and it's like you wouldn't know it. But anyway, here we are. So, you know, you're making it look good back there. Your background looks so serene. I'm like, I should be that calm.
I'm waiting for the moon bow, actually. I don't think it's going to come up today.
Cool. All right, that means you got to do that for next week. It's got to, if you can find a way to move it over the screen, that would be really cool. You know, that'd be
share my background with you.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Actually, I'll text you the one I've got, and then we'll mirror it and try to merge it. We need like a high tech person to teach me and you how to do that.
There you go. All right, talk to you next Tuesday.
Looking forward to it. Have a great night.